2 days ago, the Philip Scott Show released a very good video called Modern Woman Says Men Have Created a Dating Crisis by Refusing to Date American Women. And the video he's reviewing comes from this lady, Jen Larson's Official. Let's go ahead and play Phil's video and then we'll come back.
So there's a lot of men that has been checking out of the dating process. They have said, I have enough of these modern women in America. We sick of it. There's no reason to invest in these women whatsoever. I want you to check out this video we're going to review because, boy, even with statistics, it's getting worse for these modern women.
I have been so hesitant to post about this for two reasons. Number one, I don't like negativity and I don't want to be like the bearer of bad news. Number two, I didn't want to believe it. But after doing so much research and getting a lot of messages, I'm going to just deliver the unvarnished truth to you guys. I'm just going to lay it out straight. We're in a dating crisis. Not basically, we are. That's what's happening. So let me look at my research here because I don't want to mess it up. So men looking for casual dates and our relationships is down 50%. 50.
Okay, so she's saying that a lot of you men, you said you have checked out the process. You've checked out. Now, what she's not talking about is a lot of you men that flew out of here too. So you're not even on the dating scene because you're overseas trying to find you a wife over there. So now it's down 50%. Some men to say, I'm not even trying to fool these women. You know why they don't have to date you? Because a lot of them is just too easy to get. They'll lay down with you the first date. And listen, as a man get his rocks off or whatever, then that's all he needs. Let me tell you something. The dating process would go down to 100% checked out if tricking was legal in the U.S. If they made tricking legal, because notice they're making everything else legal, but they ain't making that legal. If they made that legal, none of them men would date y'all. What for? Because they can just go buy what they want to buy, get their little rocks off, and that's the end of it. They wouldn't, man. Boy, I'm telling you, you better hope they don't ever make that legal in the United States.
Since 2019, not since 1970, since 2019. Right.
And that's a short time ago, 2019, just a few years ago.
Right before the pandemic, down 50%. They're not looking, which means if you're a woman looking, they don't give a shit. So as this trend continues, by 2040, 45% of women, 45% of women between the ages of 20 and 45 will be single and childless.
Listen there, because men checking out the process, she's saying by 2040, 45% of women will be single and childless. Now let's go to the situation about the sperm banks. And especially when it comes to black men. Black men's sperm is in high demand. And black men has checked out of that.
So Philip Scott makes a lot of great points in that particular timepiece. What does he say? He says, listen, a lot of guys don't find any real value in dating these American women because they feel like a lot of the times the women are too easy, maybe too easy to just go to bed with, but overall too hard to deal with long term. And that is exactly why you see these men getting their passports, right? And I wanted to know, why is it that these women have been refusing to date American men? And I found a very good explanation of this from this particular channel here.
Why is it that 66% of young men between the ages of 18 and 29 are currently single, but only 34% of young women in the same age bracket are single? Pew Research Center put out this very interesting piece of research recently that talked about the historic rise in unpartnered Americans. And what they found was interesting, and it sort of left them with a lot of question marks, but some proposed answers as to why this is happening. But one of the things that was very fascinating is that young men are twice as likely to be single than young women, right? 66% of young men are single and not dating and unpartnered, but only 34% of young women are single and not partners. So what's happening? Where's the discrepancy going? The reality in what they've started to find is that young women are just dating older, right? They're just dating men that are in their early 30s, that maybe are more financially stable or more mature. Maybe they're more stable in their career, right? They've finished their degrees. They've started paying off their student loans. They've got, a mortgage or, a car or whatever the case is. And to a lot of women, that is very appealing and attractive, right? A lot of the studies have shown that on average, women still want men who are making as much of them, if not more. And the emphasis there is on the if not more. The average woman in the dating market today, between ages 18 and 29 or above, are still wanting men who are able to acquire more resources than them, who are able to out-earn them. So the challenge that I think has happened is that, we can talk about social media and dating apps and all those things, but one of the biggest discrepancies that I think has started to emerge is that as women have become more and more financially independent, their mate or selection preferences haven't adapted or changed along with that financial independence. So the reality is that, women, even though they don't need a man, they don't need a man to pay for anything, there's still, in many cases, this underlying expectation or this underlying desire to have a man who out-earns them. So as women are starting to make more and more money, right, 50, 60K, 100K, 200,000, $1 million, whatever it is, their expectation and what they want in a partner is that person still out-earns them, that person is still somebody who is able to provide more than them in some capacity. And this, I think, is really impacting young men. Because if you're a woman who comes out of college, you have a college degree, maybe you get a job right out of college, you're making 50, 60 grand, or whatever it is, however much you're making out of college.
That comes from the Man Talks YouTube channel, and the video in question is, why are 66% of young men single? And I think this is a very good video. The reason why this is a very good video, because toward the end, he explains something that is awesome. You see, in the 60s and 70s, you saw more men being educated than women, okay? So that made a lot more men more attractive. Now you have only 42% of men graduating college in comparison to, as he would say, 58% of women. So although you have more of your men into the blue collar fields and stuff like that, women, despite their particular successes in academia and the financial departments, they still want a man making more than them. Here's the issue. For the men that are making more than them, those men do not want those ladies typically, because there is a big difference in between what a woman earns and her ability to be a wife. That's the situation, right? Even if you're a guy who's doing very well, like look at a lot of the guys right now who have money galore. I talk about Giannis Antetokounmpo. I forgot his last name, but Giannis from the Bucks. This guy has 3 kids now. He's a super elite millionaire. He won't marry the girl, right? You have Nick Cannon who won't commit. Omarion doesn't want to commit. And it goes back to what Phil is saying, is it's not even worth it even if I do have the money to provide and take. Like, what am I getting? So a lot of guys are saying in the 60s and 70s, when men wanted to go to college and get an education and take care of women, what we were seeing as men at that time, women are worth it. Like in the 90s, when I wanted to go to college and become a doctor or become a businessman, one of the perks of that was knowing I was going to get a nice wife, a good looking wife, and be respected in my community. Now it's to the point where I can be literally in my 40s, not married, no kids, and that's completely fine. That wouldn't have been the case in the 90s if I was 40. If I grew up in the 70s, 80s. No, that wouldn't have been acceptable, especially not in the black community as a successful black man, a successful heterosexual black man, to be unmarried. No, that's not what it is. But now we know that people just don't value each other because they don't need each other anymore. And the reality is, as much as you're going to be seeing these men who are not going to college but still successful, women are still going to be looking down on them. And then men are going to be saying, what is the incentive for me to really achieve a lot when I feel like what I'm going to get after achieving is not going to be much? That's something that we're not talking about. A lot of guys don't want to risk working hard, going the extra mile, becoming the ultimate provider to lose everything, and they feel like there's nothing in it for them. That's the situation. So why we're not going to college to achieve this sort of life, to take care of this life? For what? It doesn't make sense. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to get anything out of that. I might as well just look out for myself. And one thing is for sure. When men just look out for their self and they don't look out for the betterment of women, I don't care how much these ladies make. It's just not a good society. Societies are probably the most safe. I would guarantee you, when you have men that care about your women and they want to take care of them, is where I want to live. I don't want to live anywhere where I feel like the men don't take care or don't care about the women after living overseas. Never. I could never live there. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. Appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe to the bell. We're out.